And now let's continue with our graduation ceremony for tonight. I am quite proud to introduce our first speaker of the evening. She is the senior with the second highest cumulative grade point average in the class. She's heading off to Ithaca College to major in occupational therapy. Megan Rushby is the daughter of Tom and Michelle Rushby of Elizabethtown. I invite the salutatorian, Megan Rushby, to the podium. Right?
Hello, and welcome to the 2014 Elizabethtown Lewis Central School Commencement Ceremony. I would like to thank the administration, parents, friends, and family members for joining the class of 2014 here today. And a special thank you to my mom, dad, friends, and family for supporting me and allowing me to be here where I am today. But I would especially like to thank all of our teachers who have helped us achieve the things that have led us to this day. Over the past 6 or so years, they have been the ones to guide us, help us achieve our goals, and kick our butts when we didn't do what we were supposed to. Seeing each of them day after day, year after year, has made us like a family. Without this family, our high school experience would not have been the same. And just like in a family, each one of them has taught us an important lesson to keep with us for the rest of our lives. To Mr. Sheffer, thank you for being like the crazy uncle. No family would be complete without that one person that passes out on the couch after eating Thanksgiving Day turkey. You know, the guy that never lets you forget a mistake you've made, even if it was 6 years ago. The one person encouraging you to do the things your parents wish you wouldn't. But most importantly, thank you for teaching me that life calls for a little humor. To Miss Us, thank you for being a really cool mom. I would forever miss hearing you yell at us to study or to get to class on time. It just won't be the same next year without listening to your random bits of information, some of which I probably could have lived my entire life without knowing. You will be forever remembered as the teacher that wanted to yell at our stupidity but was too busy laughing at it to do so. But most of all, thank you for teaching me that a life without learning is one not worth living. To Mrs. Bosley, thank you for being like our grandmother, the one that enjoys the little things in life and never stops making jokes. I will never forget that cells communicate with cell phones, or that protein is the answer to life. But thank you for teaching me that it's important to enjoy life and make jokes whenever possible. Thank you to Mr. Capstein, the class of Dad, the one that gave us munchkins and ice cream and saw discussing SpongeBob as a necessary part of life. You make puns whenever possible and never stop practicing your quick shot to the recycle bin. And you never fail to use big vocabulary words whenever possible. But most of all, thank you for teaching us that we shouldn't sweat the small stuff. To Mr. Schropp, thank you for being like our grandfather. And no, that isn't an old age or a balding joke. Not completely, anyway. You're the man always working the grill at the family barbecues and yelling at the neighborhood kids to get off your lawn. You're also the one always being harassed by Katie and Kareen and I, but we know you secretly still love us anyway. I will always remember how you like sharing your personal experience and wisdom with us, like any great grandfather should. But most of all, thank you for showing me that it's important to always treat everyone with respect. Thank you, Mrs. Blaine, for being that one really cool cousin, the tech-savvy one that can actually teach the grandparents how to use their smartphones. More importantly, you're the one that they ask, Connie, what does LOL mean? Instead of bothering the rest of us. You're the crafty one that actually does all those DIYs that other people are too lazy to do but are jealous of because they turn out really well. But most importantly, thank you for teaching me the importance of making the most out of life. To Mr. Colby, thanks for being the awesome big brother. You're the one person in the family that has literally done everything, which also makes you the go-to person for the best stories and the most interesting conversations. If someone, somewhere in the world, has done something crazy or invented something amazing, But more importantly, you're the one to keep your cool when the rest of the men in the family do something that they probably shouldn't. But thank you for teaching me to take risks and do what makes me happy. Thank you, Mrs. Fielder, for being like the younger sister. You know, the one with the intelligent sense of humor that likes to think outside the box. The one that makes everyone else feel bad about themselves because you're smarter and you always seem to know the answer. But most of all, thank you for teaching me the importance of asking questions and gaining experience. Thank you to Mrs. Drake for being the energetic little cousin. You're the people pleaser, the one that laughs out of appreciation at all the bad jokes. You're also the one that humors the dad when he thinks he's being funny and enthusiastically listens to the uncle's crazy stories. But thank you for teaching me to take on any challenges with an optimistic attitude and a smile on my face. Thank you to Mrs. Miro, the really crafty aunt. You're the incredibly happy, optimistic relative with a celebrity crush, aka Patrick Dennis. You're also the only family member that will be spontaneously breaking out into song and having a stuffed animal named Steve the Hamster as a mascot, or whom we may or may not have staged a wedding with his mail-order bride Stephanie. It's not only perfectly normal, but also encouraged. But most of all, thank you for teaching me that it's okay to be myself, even when others don't necessarily agree. Last, but certainly not least, thank you to Mrs. Rice. No family would be complete without the big sister who drinks so much coffee that it sometimes frightens everyone else. The one that always has so much energy and no one can even understand how or why. You're a prankster at heart, never missing an opportunity to pull one over on other people. But that also means you're the one that other people play pranks on, pretending to get mad even though you secretly love it. You're the family member that dares other people to do something that they later get in trouble for.
Yes.
But the most important thing I learned from you is to have fun. You taught me that life is a lot easier to live when you learn to laugh and enjoy it. So thanks to all of you for everything you've taught us. But I think the most essential thing to take away from our time here at Elizabethtown Lewis Central School is this. Never forget where you came from, because you will lose sight of your dreams and aspirations. But more importantly, you will lose sight of yourself, what you believe, and who you are. So venture onward, be brave, take risks, and change the world. Find beauty in the simple things and appreciate the individuals in your life that care about you. If you see a problem, fix it. If you make a mistake, learn from it. But always remember that you would not be the person you are without all the people that have helped you along the way. Everything you have experienced, the good and the bad, has made you the person that you are, and nothing can take that away from you. And never let anyone tell you how to live your life, because you are special and unique. You have the power to move mountains, make a difference, and reach for the stars. Who do you want to be? The choice is yours, so make the most of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Megan. At this time, our second speaker of the evening is the valedictorian of the class of 2014. She is the senior with the highest cumulative grade point average. She's heading off to the University of Central Florida to study in theater studies. Katie Whittemore is the daughter of Ken and Chris Whittemore of Lewis. At this time, I invite the valedictorian, Katie Whittemore, to the podium. Katie?
Good evening. I'm truly honored to be standing before you tonight. It has taken an immense amount of planning and effort on behalf of the faculty and staff to help us be on the stage tonight. I would like to take a moment to recognize and thank them for their dedication to our journey. In addition, I would like to thank and welcome Mr. Osborne, board members, the community, and the families of the class of 2014 for joining us on this wonderful occasion. Acceptance. To some, acceptance is another word for defeat, the painful surrender to an obstacle in front of them. To others, acceptance means conforming to a preconceived idea or notion, which involves giving up that which makes you an individual in order to be part of a group. These past 4 years have shown me what the word truly means. To me, acceptance is not about giving up what you believe in or giving up on yourself. Acceptance is freedom. It's victory. However, this kind of victory comes in many forms. The first being that not everyone is going to want to be your friend. And that's perfectly okay. Except that that is their problem to deal with, not yours. Your value does not decrease based on someone's inability to see your worth. Find an individual that will be there for you and will make you strive to be a better person with just their presence. Those few people are your true friends. I was lucky enough to find 2 of them. Accept yourself for who you are, for there is no one on earth exactly like you. A wise woman always told me that there are enough people in this world that will try to knock you down. Don't be one of them. That very wise lady was my mother. It's important that when you look at yourself in the mirror in the morning, that the person staring back at you is someone you're proud of and is your friend. We must accept that in the end, we are not going to be able to take in material things with us. That goes for most of the stuff we plan to take to college. I personally have to accept that I have 73 pairs of shoes and won't be able to take them all to college. We're going to miss this pair. Also, you need to accept, and I cannot stress this enough, that your mom is always right. It doesn't matter what it is, if you try to do something the opposite of your mom, I guarantee it will not work out. Trust me, I tried. So thank you to the moms out there for keeping us on the straight and narrow. In fact, we are all feeling gratitude to the people who brought us here tonight. Family, friends, teachers, coaches, you have all played a crucial role in making us the people we are today, and that is something we can never repay you. I personally would like to thank my family. You guys are amazing. Mom, Dad, I truly appreciate all that you've done and continue to do for me. Aside from being the best parent in the history of ever, you have undoubtedly and unconditionally loved and supported me through all my highs and lows. The values that you have exhibited and instilled in me, I will carry forever. Cassie, I remember when I was a little girl with pigtails and green and gold bows in my hair, watching you from the sidelines of one of your many, many cheerleading competitions. I remember thinking that if I could be as half as amazing a person as you, I would be set for life.
She did.
It is said that there's no better friend than a sister, and there is certainly no better sister than you. So thank you. No matter what I do, no matter where I go in life, I just want you all to know that I love you. And no, I haven't forgotten that I owe you front row seats to my first Broadway show. Furthermore, we need to accept that our families and traditions will change, but it's for the better. Like branches on a tree, we will wither, grow in different directions, and sometimes sprout a new branch. But our roots remain as one. This week alone, I've gained a cousin and a soon-to-be brother-in-law. Your family is your wealth, and they are the people that will help you accept all life's challenges. Accept that this world is a vast and amazing place. Go explore it. And no matter how far you go, you should always remember that there's a little spot in northern New York, and by northern New York, I do not mean Albany like most people think. While it may seem terrifying at times, go get the adventure, for there is nothing greater than getting lost and finding that you discovered yourself. I mean, we are trees. We don't have to stay where we're planted. Right, Peach? And unfortunately, we must accept the extra pounds that the whole class has put on due to the thousands of Little Debbie's products that we have consumed throughout the year, thanks to Mr. Shepard. That Little Debbie is a deliciously wicked lady. As you can see, acceptance comes in many forms, just like people. And as we venture into a new chapter, it is important to remember that one cannot live off of Little Debbies. I mean, we must learn to accept others, even if others don't always accept us. I'd like to leave everyone with one of my favorite poems by Richard Dawkins. We are going to die. I know you're thinking, what an uplifting way to end a speech, Katie. Great job. Just stick with me. And that makes us the lucky ones. Most people are never going to die because they're never going to be born. The potential people that could have been here in my place, but who will in fact never see the light of day outnumber those sand grains in the Sahara. Certainly those unborn ghosts include greater poets than Keats, scientists greater than Newton. We know this because the set of classical peoples allowed by our DNA so massively outnumbers the set of actual people. In the teeth of these stupefying eyes, it is you and I, in our ordinariness, that are here. No one is disposable. Life is a gift. By not having acceptance in your life, you are not honoring that gift. We were each chosen and put on this earth for a reason. As of 2014, I ask you to please go out and find your reason, and have a great time doing it. And I think that's something we can all accept. Thank you.
Katie, thank you. Our guest speaker for the evening has been chosen by this senior class, designated to provide them with words of wisdom as they embark on a new phase of their lives. The class of 2014 has selected faculty member Sarah Rice as their guest speaker this evening. Mrs. Rice resides in Westport with her husband Bob and her two children, her two sons, Jack and Max. Mrs. Rice is a native of Constable, New York. She's a graduate of Franklin Academy, the Malone Central School District. She began her public service to our students here on September the 1st of 2001, replacing Mr. Flack, who had retired. Aside from her regular teaching duties in our high school, Mrs. Rice has served as a class advisor, a National Honor Society advisor. She's a member of the Shared Decision-Making Team, numerous building-level teams, countless district-level teams. Sarah Rice embodies the dedication that has helped this community to provide 76 years, although you weren't part of all 76, my dear, many years of successful students, neither was I. We started teaching at the same time. Mrs. Rice was characterized by these students with the following words. She's kind, she's caring, she's dedicated, she has high expectations, but she helps us get there. She routinely goes above and beyond, and one student said very plainly, she's just a very caring person. Without further ado, let's hear from these students' selection tonight. As their speaker, I introduce to you faculty member Sarah Rice.
That was lovely, except the words of wisdom part. I'll be skipping that. Good evening. I would first like to thank the class of 2014 for inviting me to be the speaker this evening. It is an honor and a privilege to be selected by you on such an important and momentous occasion. I am truly touched to be a part of your graduation ceremony. I am not the only one who recognizes the importance of being the speaker tonight. In fact, several people have acknowledged my role and offered words of advice. For instance, one person affectionately said, "You know, it's very hot in the gym during graduation. The quicker the speech, the quicker we can get out in the fresh air." Another friend mentioned, "Have you heard the old saying, short and sweet and to the point?" I think that works well for speeches, especially at graduation. Still another person pointed out, "There are young children there. Think of the little ones when you plan that speech, Sarah. They only have so much patience." So what did I take away from all of this, you might wonder? At first I thought, I've got the microphone. I basically have unlimited power. We are talking total control. I should make this speech as long as possible. Maybe I can break some kind of world record for longest graduation speech in the world. The current record is 6 hours. I could beat that and still have you home for breakfast. After some further consideration, however, I decided I would write this speech with the same focus and strategy that you students employ when completing this type of task. I waited until the very last minute and whipped it up during my lunch today. So what do I really want to say to the graduates, the families, and the community? I want to say thank you. Thank you for letting us, the faculty, staff, and administration here at ELCS, share in the joy of raising these children. Over the years, we have watched them go from cute little ones to awkward adolescents to the handsome and capable young men and women on the stage tonight. We watched them pull out their teeth in middle school and offer to let us hold them. We watched them grapple with challenges and suffer losses. We watched their pants go from a bit baggy to just right to high water ready in just a few months. We watched them grow and change and mature. We watched them dance at the prom, debate at United Nations conferences, fight for a cause on the green team, create works of art, play instruments, score goals, study for tests, get into trouble, get out of trouble, laugh, cry, and support one another. We watch them go from little to big, and being a part of that is more than a blessing. It's an honor and a privilege. So tonight, my speech is really about gratitude. Thank you, students, for letting us be a part of your lives. Thank you for letting us share in your accomplishments, support you through your challenges, and celebrate your graduation. It is also important to thank you, parents and family members. As school employees, we acknowledge the trust you place in us when you send your children into our classrooms every day. We thank you for sharing your kids. We thank you for believing in us, and most importantly, we thank you for loving, encouraging, and believing in these fine young men and women. They would not, could not be who they are without you. In just a short time, you kids will rise from your chairs, turn your tassels, and walk out of this building as adults. When you leave tonight, a part of you, whether you know it or not, will stay here with us. Here at school, we will reminisce about your silliness, laugh about the things that once made us very angry, and inquire frequently about what you are currently pursuing in life. We will celebrate your successes, sympathize with your struggles, and cheer you on as you navigate the ever-changing, unpredictable path of adulthood. As your English teacher for many years, I spent a great deal of time encouraging you to develop images in your writing. I wanted you to think about how readers would feel and what they would see as they read your work. What was the lasting image? What part of the piece stayed with you after the precise wording was forgotten? Tonight, I will take the opportunity to share my images of you. Because I lack originality, I have once again constructed a poem for my graduation speech. And surprisingly, it even rhymes. The kids next to me know that I generally loathe rhyming poems, but my colleagues have informed me that everyone except English teachers think that poems are supposed to rhyme, or they're really not poems at all. So what you are left stuck with tonight is something between Dr. Seuss and The Night Before Christmas, and I will just have to hope there aren't too many English teachers in the audience tonight. Sorry, Ms. Us, I may want to plug your ears for a few minutes. So here it is. These are my lasting images of all of you. These are the pictures that I carry, not in my wallet, but in my heart. This is called I'll Remember You. I'm not going to look at you. I'll remember Savannah Graves and my first impression. That Oreo swag left much to question. For her smile and laughter and easy style, her thoughts and ideas were always worthwhile. I'll remember Hugh Harwood for his kindness to others, his love of his siblings, his father and mother, as a boy who makes proud his family and friends, both silly and serious, powerful blend. I'll remember Joseph G. Dita for his fancy journal that can astound and appall, his dark dapper suits and his songs in the hall, his neighborly niceties and notes on my board, his fun sense of humor always striking a chord. I'll remember Bridget Blood for her faith and devotion. She'll stick to a plan and put it in motion, her unwavering loyalty and fashion advice, her giving of love never comes with a price. I'll remember Terry Thomas for his drive to debate, his work that he claimed was just barely late, his focus on government and all things political, and the fact that his thinking is always so critical. I'll remember Angel Barnes for her noble work ethic, her plan to do well in all things academic. She's grown and matured and set a strong plan. The best out of life is what she demands. I'll remember Abigail Berto for the books that she borrowed and never read, for her sparkling smile and that tilt of her head. She can run with a crowd or blaze a new trail. When she puts her mind to it, she never will fail. I'll remember Dylan Susie for his perfect handwriting. The words that he wrote were always enlightening. He's kind to his peers and quick with a smile. He's a man of his word and never hostile. I'll remember Connor Marvin for that long letter he wrote, putting on paper words stuck in his throat. For the late homework pages and jokes during class, you can't help but love the big pain in the bum. I'll remember Katie Whittemore for her drive to achieve, her commitment to academics and fashion extreme, her belief in herself and her family and friends, the way she can set and follow a trend. I'll remember Nick Davey for all the books that he'll read, his drive to pen plots and weave tales of misdeed, his quiet disposition and big generous smile, the way he developed his artistic style. I'll remember Robert Beaton for his love of outside, for his joy in longboarding and the skill when he rides, for his days at Pat's house when he played with the boys, and the writing he did, but never enjoyed. I'll remember Megan Rushby for her acute intellect, for her desire to learn and think and reflect, her capacity unyielding and boundless and great. No one can stop her or hinder her gait. I'll remember Justin Lapierre for his spot-on impressions that were often disturbing, his will to distract and digress never curbing, his fun-loving side and that heart on his sleeve. He'll leave you laughing with the tales that he weaves. I'll remember Corrine White for her written expression, her desire to learn and grow from each lesson, for her commitment to others and making a difference, her mark on the world never far in the distance. I'll remember Jacob Egglefield for all the times that he said, "Can I ask you a question?" It's about me, actually, he'd make sure to mention. "Did you even notice me here?" At last he would say, "Of course I did, Jacob. You make sure it's that way." I'll remember Alicia Mosley for her colorful hair. She's a friend like no other. She's always there. For her quiet manner, she never was loud. She's a hard worker who made her dad proud. I'll remember Katie Decker, for despite her small size, she can say what she wants just with her eyes. Her laughter is full and rich with expression. She's sure to help others in her chosen profession. I'll remember Doug Lavienne for his work on a task. He'll do so much more than you'll ever ask. For his kindness in words and in his practice, he'll never let trouble tip him off his axis. I'll remember Justin Heal for hunting and fishing. Assignments not done that just left me wishing. For the way that he changed when he began CD Tech, and how for a friend he'll stick out his neck. I'll remember Zoe Rooser for her contributions in writing, the broad wealth of knowledge she's always reciting, her focus on learning and knowing the truth, exceedingly wise in spite of her youth. I'll remember Rhiannon Martin for that big, gorgeous grin and the way that she argues and yet always wins. Her resounding, "Oh man," with a wave and a smile, a girl with a plan to cook with some style. I'll remember Lily Whalen for her athletic pursuits, her competitive nature and how she scores when she shoots, her commitment to learning and gaining knowledge. These traits will help much when she heads off to college. I'll remember Alex Yakubchiakova for her terms in my room. Using curse words is much fun, I presume. I'll miss you next year when you're back in Slovakia. I look forward to the next time I'll get to talk to you. Nothing rhymes with Slovakia. I'll remember Jerry Mitchell for the talk of his guns, but when it comes to English, he won't get her done. He'll talk in his slang, chock full of ain'ts, graduation, you'll hear no complaints. I'll remember Austin Morris for his illegible scrawl. Oh, those chicken scratches I will always recall. And the words full of meaning, though hard to read. At least with a computer, he's sure to succeed. I'll remember Owen Denton for skipping his journal and hunting instead. Fire calls and patriotism filling his head. For being so kind and still being the king. For the family he loves and the fun that he brings. I'll remember Nathan Bassett for his riffs on guitar. His spontaneous songs will make him a star. For dancing down hallways and bouncing off walls. For laughing and playing, amusing us all. I'll remember Julia Cox for her sunshiny smile, her promise that work would come in a while. For athletics and plays and some silliness, all this and more I surely will miss. I'll remember Ashley Grady for her tall uppercase. Slim Grady was here, scrawled all over the place. Her mischievous grin as she broke every rule, the hole in our hearts, the loss to our school. I'll remember this class, 2014. They were funny and sweet and everything in between. I'll remember this class of 2014. They were funny and sweet and everything in between. I wish them the best as they make their start, but forever and always you'll stay in my heart. I love you all. Congratulations.
Can't even. Oh, Jesus.
Mrs. Rice, thank you.
Thank you. Okay.
This year at our school, we had the opportunity to have our school community enriched with the presence of 2 foreign exchange students. They brought with them their backgrounds, their customs, the diversity of their culture, which benefited our school broadly. Yusuf Al-Amri was in our 11th grade. Yusuf came to us from Saudi Arabia, and he lived with his host family, Dave Scaglione, Diane Bouchard, Parker DeClaire, and Jaden Bouchard. Before graduation and before final exams, Yusuf had to return to Saudi Arabia. But I think we can agree that his infectious smile and his sense of humor made a huge impact in our school. So much so that his peers did vote him to be the king of our prom this year, and it was a great honor to have Yusuf here at our school. Also tonight, a member of our senior class is here in a foreign exchange program. Alex Yakubchikova has been living with her host family, Denise Plano, and graduate Savannah Grace. Alex has been an absolute pleasure, and Alex would like to share with you tonight some parting words before she returns back to the Slovak Republic. I would ask Alex to come on over and say a few words. Alex?
I didn't really prepare this, so don't worry. Yeah, I'm not really funny, but those guys say I talk funny, so have fun. It's gonna be so bad. At the age of 17, I left my home country, my friends and family, and my old school, and came to the ELCS with those awesome guys in there. And I can tell you, the beginning wasn't easy. First of all, first week, I drank coffee creamer. It was like pain in my stomach for a week, but second of all, those walkers, we made them. I had 3 minutes between classes to get from point A to point B, and those walkers didn't make it for me. Oh, next is rice. Thanks for the books. Lord of the Flies, made me cry every day. Oh, what about softball season? your house. I can never forget it. Also, I would like to thank all teachers that they were here willing to help me with the homework they gave me. Wow, great honor. And friends, thanks for being awesome. I would especially like to thank Gigi and Justin for opening my locker, and hard. Zoe for being here always for me. And Savannah for being my mom, sister, babysitter, everything I needed. As a student, I was part of North Country Model U1, Senior Trip, and varsity softball team. I can tell you, I love every experience I gained. Yeah, every moment I spent here, every student I met made my life better. This year will always be in my memory, and I'm not lying when I say this year was the best of my life. Now, everyone is starting a new chapter of their lives. And I'm glad I'm going to be labeled as an ELCS student for the rest of my life. But now, we should all know, leaving ELCS is not the end. It's the beginning of something greater.
Alex, thank you. Congratulations. You did a great job. At this time, I'd like to introduce to you the members of the Elizabethtown Lewis Central School District Board of Education. The school board is the governing body of our school district. They are elected by the community